Hey, and welcome back to my channel where I bring you all the exciting stock market news updates from the world of finance. And let me tell you, the Dow Jones Index has been soaring lately. We've witnessed the index achieve its longest winning streak since March 2021, and the other indexes are also surging, which is great news for stock investors. This has mainly been due to the recent strong bank earnings that came in. For instance, Bank of America has soared past profit estimates, which was due to the higher interest rates on customer loans. And guess what? Chase and Wells Fargo, the consumer banking rivals, are also enjoying this trend, so it has been a win-win for the banking sector. But that's not all. Our beloved tech stocks have also received a boost, thanks to the tech giant Microsoft. They hit a record high in their share price by announcing an extra $30 per month charge for Microsoft 365 because it now comes with generative AI tools. Speaking of AI, Mark Zuckerberg dropped a bombshell. He announced that his company, Meta, will open source the code behind their latest language model, which means that developers can now use it for research or commercial purposes for absolutely free. Now let's shift our focus to the skies. United Airlines is taking advantage of the international travel boom. They're adding more Asia routes and becoming the only American airline to offer daily nonstop flights between Manila and the continental US via San Francisco. On top of that, Tokyo and Taipei are also getting some additional flights. The travel restrictions are fading, and people are booking long-distance trips like never before. And with a strong dollar, global getaways are becoming even more appealing. But hold on a second, we've got to watch out for scammers. They've been changing phone numbers for major airlines like Delta and Southwest in Google search results, trying to redirect callers and steal their hard-earned money. So be careful the next time you call an airline. Shifting gears, the Wall Street Journal reported that thousands of miles of lead-sheathed telecom company cables could be a public health liability in the US. That is why the share price of telecom giants like AT&T and Verizon have been falling recently. Verizon is down, and AT&T shares have hit a 30-year low due to concerns about potential lawsuits. However, on the bright side, this is a great time for dividend investors to pick up some shares at a cheap price. Now let's dive into the fascinating world of interest rates. It's mind-boggling how the relationship between rates, jobs, and inflation has changed over the years. Back in the day, the US economy relied heavily on manufacturing and housing, and normally higher interest rates would send the economy into a tailspin. But today, it's a different story. With the service economy taking the lead, interest rate risk is managed efficiently through various derivatives. The US economy has become less sensitive to rate changes, and that's why we haven't seen the widely forecasted recession yet. The economy is actually more resilient than ever before. This is why economist and investor celebrity Jim Cramer do not see a recession on the horizon. According to the recent data reports, it is unlikely that the US will fall back into a recession, which is fantastic news for stock market investors. Now, onto some major news in the corporate world. Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Bristol-Myers Squibb are suing the Biden administration over its Medicare drug price negotiation plan. It's a battle between easing prescription prices and the billions of dollars that these drug makers would lose. Next, let's take a quick pit stop at Chipotle. They're planning to expand their reach by building hundreds of stores in smaller markets. And you won't believe the sales they've seen in those areas, up to 3 times higher than average store openings. So we can anticipate that their stock will go even higher. Moving on to the tech world, Google is taking cybersecurity seriously. They're starting a pilot program where some employees will have restricted access to the internet on their desktop PCs to reduce the risk of cyber attacks, which is a really smart move by Google. You should also be aware that 2 senators are set to introduce a bill that would ban members of the federal executive branch and lawmakers from owning stock in individual companies. This bill is an attempt to ensure transparency and avoid conflicts of interest. However, it seems that this bill will not go through to become a law. In other stock news, Carvana, the online car selling business, has reached an agreement with debt holders to eliminate over 83% of their unsecured notes, reducing their total debt by a staggering $1.2 billion. They're gaining financial flexibility and reducing cash interest expenses, which is a really smart move. Speaking about cars, Nissan has decided to adopt Tesla's North American charging standard, which is great news for TSLA shareholders. It looks like Tesla has emerged victorious in the charging station battle, which we predicted in a previous video. Lastly, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard have extended their merger agreement, and now they expect the deal to close before October 18th, which means that there are exciting times ahead for the gaming industry. That's all for today's thrilling financial news roundup. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest updates from the world of finance. Until next time, happy investing.